Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, Main Lube Lubricants, and your local Repco store.
Hey Fletch, go fetch another classic resto, one with sparkling paint and chrome all full of shine. Hey Fletch, go fetch another classic resto, and show me what I wish was really mine.
To another dazzling episode of Classic Restos, of course not possible without the continued support of Shannon's Insurance, Main Lube Lubricants and your local Repco store scattered across Australia and New Zealand. Shannon's Insurance, how good are these people? Why not pick up the phone and give Shannon's a call on 134646 or visit Shannon's online at shannons.com.au. While you're there, you can watch catch-up episodes of Classic Restos and you can also sign up and become a member of the Shannon's Club. Main Lube Lubricants. You can send an oil sample away from your engine, gearbox, transmission or diff for an analysis and you receive a full report. Go to mainlube.com.au. And of course your local Repco store gives you access to an inventory of $50 million worth, which equates to 900,000 more parts for more cars. Visit repco.com.au and repco.co.nz with stores across Australia and New Zealand.
And on today's show, there's big horsepower. Not in a car, but in a motorbike frame. You'll see Brian Hoss. You'll see Bob with some of his knowledge. Then there's Carl with his 454 shoehorned in. Stork with his nitro-breathing sand dragger. You'll see a segment from one of the major sponsors. Then it's off to Wakefield Park, where Justin shows off his mighty RX-3. This and more awaits you on this week's episode of Classic Restos.
And on today's show, boy, have I got something different for you. I've travelled to Wakefield Park in regional New South Wales, Australia. If you love your bikes and you love your V8 engines, boy, do I have a little package strapped up waiting for you. Meet Brian Hoss Cartwright, the bloke we can blame for producing a product to satisfy the crying needs for speed in anyone with a disorder where there is no turning back. He's ridden bikes all of his life. He was born on a bike. He's also a metal fabricator and a welder. So that means if it's a piece of steel, better still a piece of tube, he'll turn it into whatever you please. On today's show, it's one of these. And with a middle name of Hoss, these bikes just had to be Hoss style. Here's the guy, one of the most innovative blokes that I've met in quite a while. How are you, Hoss?
Yeah, good, Fletch. And yourself?
Good, mate, good. Now look, just give us a quick run through. What have you done here? Where did it start with you?
I started about 3 years ago. We built the first drag bike, had it at the Bankstown Bike Show, and we've just been going around in Australia competing. And guys like my bikes, so we sold 18 the last 2.5, 3 years.
Mate, when you look at a V8 engine in a motorbike frame years ago, a lot of jobs weren't done very well. What you've done here is perfection. I mean, they're done neatly, they look good, aesthetically spot on. The performance, I guess, would just go without saying. They must be just incredible to ride.
Yeah, no, they go pretty well. They go straight too and they stop, which is a big help in the dirt.
Yeah, right.
A lot of them have got 600-700 horsepower engines now.
Yep.
My bike here is 770 with a 360 shot on a controller, so you can bring it on slowly so it doesn't just spin the wheel.
Yep.
So you got over 1,000 horsepower there, so it's a lot of fun.
Mate, when you think of that sort of power or horsepower and torque into a bike frame, what sort of work do you have to do to the frame without sounding like a stupid question? I mean, they've got to be obviously very strong. What sort of measures have you got to take before you mount a V8 engine in one of these frames?
Oh, they're all built a particular way that they don't fatigue and crack. They're made out of pressure pipe, seamless pipe, most of them. Unlike the road bikes we do, made out of chrome moly. So we will build them out of chrome moly if people want them, but they don't need to.
I think it's good too, pending the size of the rider, the age of the rider, the height of the rider, everything's taken into account and specifically built for that particular person, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've got 8 bikes here racing today, and everybody's different size. They want to lay down, they want to sit up, they want to have tall bars, they want to have short bars. All the bikes are basically the same frame, the same setup. The best thing about them is with the LS and the Chev motors, you can start off with a 300 horsepower, and you can pull that motor out and stick a 700 horsepower straight in the same frame.
How do the transmissions work?
The transmission is just a Crowra clutch. It's a three-plate 8-inch mini. It's underneath the seat. It has a 1-to-1 chain drive in the primary, and there's direct drive to the back wheel, usually between 15 and 18 to 96 or 98. So you leave the line at about 100 mile an hour. The back wheel's doing 100 mile an hour, and you leave the line, $6,000.
Okay, so there are different ratios in terms of rear cog to determine speeds?
The different ratios for the short track here are running 120 metres. Western Australia, they run over 200. Last year we got 200 k's an hour and 200 metres in Northampton. So on the short track we're doing probably 100 mile an hour.
Hoss, the back tyre, it's like a bloody paddle wheel. I mean, when it bites, it must be, the force where it's biting the ground must be incredible. The weight of the V8 further forward obviously helps to keep everything down. I mean, do you have situations where it'll just rear up?
Yeah, they do. They do power stand. They're quite controllable. You stand up in the pegs, you can push them back down. So they're a hell of a lot of fun. The crowd like it too, and the front wheel comes off the ground.
You're bloody mad, aren't you?
Some say I am, but I'm not.
Now, if you want to find out more information on these bikes, even if you want to ring this bloke and have a yarn, Hostile, easy to find through Google.
Yep, yeah, Hostile Cycles, yep.
Good on you, Hoss. I'll let you get back to it, buddy.
Thank you very much.
This is the man. Various parts of his anatomy need to be carried around in a wheelbarrow. Anyway.
Yeah, they're broken as well.
Okay, we've got Bob now. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing very good, thank you, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. What's going on with this bike here? Tell us about it. I guess how universal they are. Different engines are available.
That's so. It started life as a GSXR Suzuki, which you can see down in here, the standard frame. The swing arm was extended. It's a Hostile swing arm. We've got a modified front end in it out of a 125 scramble machine, I guess I call it. We've got an upgraded aftermarket radiator. We've got titanium exhaust pipe systems, all aluminium handlebar system. We come down here to an outside bearing drive down to the back paddle wheel. So this is now the Hostile prototype to where he will make the new ones with the chrome moly or mild steel frames using a jack shaft system to whereas there will be enough room to put in any motorcycle engine or virtually any, all your Jap models, all your Harley models, your BMWs, Hondas and stuff like that.
How many years have you been in the scene, Bob?
Oh, probably from when I was a little kid and Mum and Dad give us a 3-wheel flying arrow and I used to try and ride it on 2 wheels and broke the wheels. About that long.
That's awesome, mate. It just goes to show you just can't beat experience, can you?
You can't beat try again.
Just to give you some idea of the power that some of these bikes can produce in the unlimited category. We're talking damage here on a hub, an alloy hub, of a bike that was capable of running under a 7-second quarter mile. This is what happened as a result when they hit the nitrous switch, an additional boost of around 300 horsepower. The advantage of alloy too is, of course, it didn't break. But this here, my friends, has got more twist than chubby checker. Okay, here we go. Got Carl. How are you, Carl?
Yeah, good, thanks, Fletch.
That's why, mate. Mate, what's going on here? 454 in a bike frame. Tell us about it.
Well, I started off as a 350. It was motored out of a jet boat. And I ended up sold the bike to another bloke in the club. And he had a 454 to jam in it. I was like, all right, eh? And so we threw it in. And just to give it a quick test run just now, of course, it's stretched the chain and whatnot, just a bit too much horsepower there for it. I just had to beef it up and go again.
Jeez, mate, the chain's it's thick enough to turn a cement mixer barrel. Mate, it sounds incredible, like 454. I mean, the displacement of this engine, you put it in a motorhome, little load of motorbike.
Yeah, well, it's power to weight, it's there, you know, so as you'll see throughout the day, it's just it's incredible to watch and it's even better to ride.
Carl, what's the technique in riding one of these? Bringing power on slowly, how do you do it?
Just point and shoot and just hold it flat. That's all you can do, hope for the best.
I wish you luck out there today, mate. 120 metres of track and a little bit of terror.
Gee, thanks, Fletch.
For the best in classic vehicle and home insurance, oil analysis and lubricants, and the biggest parts stockist across Australia and New Zealand, go to classicrestos.com.au for more information. Moving through on today's show, Hoss, tell us about the Barbarian. What's the go with this big girl?
Barbarian's an Aussie-made V8 road bike. We've got them full volume approved, so they're full ADR approved for Australia, so you can register them anywhere in Australia. They're a 350 inline Chev V8, 330 horsepower, chrome multi frame, Brembo brakes, Finale shocks. Everything's 100% made here in Oakdale, just south of Sydney. We import the engines and the gearboxes, but everything else is Aussie made.
We're talking this power for these bikes. We're talking power that would equate to like a 14-second car down the quarter mile. I mean, it's hard to comprehend. How does it, when you sit on them, like balance-wise, Hoss, they feel fairly stable?
Yeah, they've got a low centre of gravity, so they've got a real light turning. So when you want to turn around in a sharp corner, you can just sit on it and just pull the bars around. There's no weight in them at all. So it's really nice to ride. They're a single speed, so you just wind the throttle on, wind it off. You've got 8 cylinders engine braking.
It's made here. I mean, even the fuel tank, it's just so wide. I mean, everything starts from scratch with you. There's lots of billet. Just incredible in your design. How you pull this off is beyond me.
Yeah, a mate of mine up in the Gold Coast started these in 2006. We've taken them on because we're building the other bikes, because we've got the workshop set up for it. But it's only the frame that is engineered and approved. We can put different tanks, bars, guards on them, different size wheels and things. So it's sort of up to the customer if he wants to have something that looks like a Victory or something that looks like a Bobber or something that looks like a Heritage, and whatever paint he wants, we'll just chuck it on the bike.
Geez, no doubt about it. Just takes on a whole new meaning, you know, throw the leg over, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does.
Moving through, got Stork now. How are you, Stork?
Yeah, good, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. What's going down with this bike?
We're doing a bit of sand drag racing. We got a thing with a LS1 in it on a carburettor with a couple hundred shot of gas in it.
What do you say? You get to that point of the interview, already I'm thinking, geez, hang on.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. Gets your attention, that's for sure. Fletch, the way we get the power down, it runs off the end of the crank through like a primary setup, through the, it's like a postie bike on steroids, centrifugal clutch through here, and just drives from the other side. We got the pumps for the nitrous and all that, and yeah, now we got a little secret lunchbox in here that controls all our stuff. So that's the secret weapon in there.
So Stork, tell me, where does it go back with you with bikes? Like when was the first time you thought, hey, I'm going to throw an 8-iron in one of these?
Went to Daytona Bike Week 2004, come back, I thought I can build one of these, and collected parts for a year and said, oh mate, on a Thirsty Thursday I'm going to build a V8, and about a year later, after collecting bits, I said it's time. He went, oh no, 4 44s full of empty cans, and first V8 was built.
That's awesome. I mean, I guess in terms of parts, accessibility, getting the V8s, that's all the easy stuff.
Yeah, no, you know, collect bits here and there, and the boys donate to the cause. It's all good, you know. Boys at the local pub, people have donated in my area. It's been unreal.
The thing is, too, it's something that's so different as well. I mean, I alluded to earlier, it's not every day of the week you get to see one of these. Best of both worlds. V8 engine, motorbike, it doesn't matter what you're into. It's a bit of a cross-section here, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm a car freak. Love me V8s and that. I've got a XB that's got 430 at the back wheels, but this has got 700, so it weighs quarter of the weight of the XB, and it's unreal.
You're a bugger for punishment, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, no, you got to have some fun.
Good talking to you, Stork. Hope you really enjoy it here today, mate, and yeah, keep up the great effort here, eh?
Yeah, no, when you're doing 106 mile an hour and 120 metres, it doesn't get any better.
On the start there.
Time for an information segment now on Classic Restos. As you know, one of my major sponsors specialises in superior oil products. Aaron, welcome.
How's it going, Fletch?
Good, mate, good. We have a trusty Ford top-loader gearbox with a standard oil that's being used. Now, there's nothing wrong with the standard oil, Aaron. Give us a walkthrough.
Okay, so basically what we've done is we've gone down to the local supermarket store there and we've picked one of the generic brands off the shelf that is a run-of-the-mill product.
All right, now, as you can see, this shot on the screen is amazing. That's the standard oil spinning literally off the gearbox cogs.
Is there's no affinity for the metal to attract, for the oil to attract to the metal, okay? So what happens is it throws it off as soon as you get some RPM going, it aerates the oil, okay, and drops the viscosity of the oil, creates metal-to-metal touch and creates wear.
Now the basic oil has been removed from the gearbox after a flush and the superior oil has been added. Give us a rundown now, what's happening?
Okay, so what we see happening now is you see the oil is not flinging outside the box, it is chasing all the moving parts, seeking them and giving total lubrication. Okay, so obviously we can see straight off the bat that it reduces noise, reduces oxidation of the oil, okay, which reduces foaming and therefore reduces wear.
It's amazing. You drive your car, you've just got no idea what's happening under your floor pan, inside your gearbox. It's an extraordinary test. Now keep in mind too, it's not a knock on the basic product, it's just to explain that there are better alternatives out there, right?
There certainly is.
Now, for more information, go to classicrestos.com.au. You know who the major sponsor is. Click on their logo to be directed to their website for more information. Send them an email, pick up the phone, speak to a bloke like Aaron. You won't go wrong. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, Fletch.
You enjoyed just some of the dirt drags, and if it wasn't for Brian Hoss Cartwright, it wouldn't be happening. Brian's done a wonderful job of attracting this sport to New South Wales, and I hope it only gets bigger and better for him. Now, just across from the dirt drags, we've got Wakefield Park. These guys are running around. How are you, Justin?
Good, thanks, Fletch. How are you, mate?
Good, mate, good. Get to have a rotary on the show. 1976 RX3. What a beautiful car.
Thanks very much, Fletch.
How long have you had it?
About 4 years now.
And what was it like when you got it?
Paint was pretty much the same, but everything else on it was pretty worn out and tired, so...
Engine bay, stunning. Looks really nice under there.
Cheers. Yeah, I've done a lot there, so...
Is it true what they say from the old days, that the rotaries really weren't as good as they did?
Yeah, they do. They go pretty good. Yeah.
Give us a rundown. What have you done with your engine?
So after I bought it, they blew up, which usually happens to rotaries whenever you buy them off someone. So yeah, got it rebuilt, new seals, bearings, port job. And then from there I've just gone through and done suspension and brakes, rebuilt the diff, and just gone from there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a very well-finished car, the Mazdas. I mean, they always have been, especially, I mean, apart from the fact of the Kermit green, I mean, it just, you know, reaches out and just grabs you. But, I mean, the way the car's finished, they were always a nice car. I remember even back in the 70s, the Japanese did a very good job.
Japanese always built good cars. They were probably years ahead of other makers at the time.
Tell us, why are you here today? Why? There's only a handful of cars here. It's by no means a big turnout here today at Wakefield Park, Justin. So tell us what you stand for and, yeah, why you're here.
All right, so yeah, we've come down with Renew. It's the Rotary Enthusiasts of New South Wales. It's a car club, so we've all come down together with our Mazdas just to get it out on the track and have a bit of fun. Keeping
speed off the streets as well, which I think, you know, you really stand for some good stuff there.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we're all here for, so get our cars out, have a bit of fun and nice safe environment. And, yeah.
So Justin, how's it work? Can you just go out and do as many laps as you want and come back?
No, you're out for a session, so they'll call all the street cars up. We'll all line up, let us out in probably 30-40 second intervals. Just do laps at your own pace. So if you're a bit slower, move over, let the faster guys pass. And just run against yourself.
That's good. Well, we've got a little camera mounted on Justin's car, so strap yourself into your favourite seat as we do a lap around Wakefield Park in the mighty RX3. Good on you, Justin.
No worries. Thanks, Fletch.
The rotary engine was invented by a German fellow by the name of Felix Wankel in 1957. Mazda was the only company that put them into production from 1967 through to 1977. The 12A rotary engine featured two 573cc rotors, equaling 1146 cc's. It produced 110 horsepower, 82 kilowatts, along with 135 newton meters of torque, which was pretty healthy in a lightweight car. its lack of moving parts, the rotary engine was renowned to rev. In fact, the Japanese on the test bench had a rotary engine spinning at over 20,000 RPM before destruction.
Well, what do you think of that on today's show? A little bit of a V8 shoved into a motorbike frame, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of Wakefield Park, a little bit of rotary. What more could you want? I hope you've really enjoyed it. Now, classicrestos.com.au, that's the website that you need to find out more information on travelling Route 66. There's Classic Restos merchandise there, including the DVD boxed sets, t-shirts, caps, and also information on how my major sponsors can help you. As I say at the end of every show, until next week, please, wherever you're watching the show from, ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching.
Don't forget to like Classic Restos on Facebook. Facebook.com/Classic Restos TV. And episodes can be seen at shannons.com.au. Well, there goes another Classic Restos. Thanks for riding along with me. For DVD sets and to contact the major sponsors, go to classicrestos.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, Main Lube Lubricants, and your local Repco store.